Hey everybody, Rodamon here. Thanks for tuning in to Starbound, a vanilla Let's Play tutorial series. So, reminding you what I said last episode. Last episode I mentioned that I was going to venture to the boss fight, to the ruin. And here's why. There's actually more to the game after you defeat the ruin, and I want to cover that content before I cover colonization. So to that end, let me head on over to get ready for the last fight, the last big fight in the game. Now I also wanted to mention that, maybe keep that. I also wanted to mention that there are some other fights as well. There's some other big bosses as well that I won't not be covering in this series. Partially because I don't want to, I find them boring, and also partially because it was not voted for at the start of this series for me to cover anyway. So some of the things I want to do here, I just want to... Oh man, they're really, really overpriced. I was going to buy some food to make some interesting meals for this last fight. Let's see. I don't know what ingredients I have. Banana bacon. Oh boy. Well, that seems weird. If you ask me. An omelet. Banana bacon. So the food bonuses that you could get can sometimes be really, really, really powerful. And that's what I'm aiming for, is to just have some powerful food. But it would have been better had I, like, gone to Google and figured out the right recipes. I do have some interesting foods on me. So now that I have cleared out that inventory, I am going to remove some of these blocks here that I don't need. I should have done that when I was selling at the Terramart. And then we will promptly head to the ruin. But before we head to the ruin, I also want to get some extra boons, some extra buffs. Let's do that as well. So, I haven't really fully described what this legendary weapon does, the Protector's Broadsword. So, the left click is a 3-swipe swing. You can briefly hold right click to charge it up as like a lightsaber, and then you can right click to release a charge, or you can just keep holding right click to charge up and release. Probably the most ideal situation here is to charge it up, use some of these super powerful swings, and then release the charge. That's probably the most bang for your buck. So, my Cluex friend here is going to give me jump boost. You know what I want to do, actually? I want to check Frog's Furnishings before I go to the ruin to see if they have Western-styled stuff. I haven't really, I'll be perfectly honest, I haven't really been keeping track of the days and when they will give me Western stuff. But hopefully it's today. Nope. Bunch of space-style stuff. That's fine. Okay. Now, let's go save the entire universe. Nonchalantly, right? So heading to the Ark Ruins is where all of our keys were put together to the portal to the ruin. And then, of course, to just be reminded that Azra Nox is trying to bring about the end of the world because she's cranky, as far as I could tell. I don't know what her motivations are. She got picked on, so she wants the world to die. No new good augments being sold, so let's go jump into the ruin. Now, I did mention originally when I was talking about colony building that there is a way to protect yourself from meteor strikes, and that way is inside. It can be found inside the ruin. The ruin is a unique biome with their own sort of blocks and everything. And one of the blocks that you will find at the bottom of the ruin, which is where the boss fight is like brain blocks. And these brain blocks are very, very, very difficult to mine up and are very tough to destroy. I'm not going to be mining them because honestly it just takes too long. It takes so long to mine up brain blocks, but I will show you where they are in case that interests you. When we get low enough, the sail computer will warn us about our proximity to the pit, and I'll show you the pit as well. And there's the sail computer warning me about the fathom depth. And basically what he's saying is, you have to fall. And the idea here is you fall, and no matter how far you fall, you don't die, unless you're really wounded ahead of time. And now we're standing at the bottom of the ruined pit. And these blocks that are beneath me are the material that is very, very, very hard to blow up with meteor strikes, but collecting enough to protect a colony would take hours, I think. As you can see, even with the maxed out matter manipulator, it takes forever. I forget the actual math on how long it is, but let me just say I won't be doing it. But if you did want to make a meteor strike resistant colony, this material down here, this material down here is where it's at. So continuing on, pit will get deeper, 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 and then we'll have this door and a save checkpoint. I'm sure this all looks pretty familiar. So before I head in here, I'm going to switch my EPPs from my light 3 to my damage 3. And I am also going to set up my javelins in case I want to use javelins. Javelins are these electric javelins, energy javelins rather, are very powerful. So here's Azra Nox. And this is, obviously, she's not the Ruin. She's just being cranky that I'm trying to defeat the Ruin, but she goes down without much of a fight. The actual fight is going to be in a minute. So let's go eat some of our food. Let's try an omelet. What does the omelets do? Bonus health, cool. So here's the actual fight of Ruin. Ruin here telegraphs his abilities so that you can avoid them. And I'm just going to be using my 2 spell wands to dump spells in his eye. He'll also be spawning sort of garbage abs. As you can see, there I'm being slowly surrounded by creatures. And on the sides here, his tentacles will make the terrain sort of impassable. During his eyeball strike maneuvers, which you'll see in a moment, he kills off any creatures that it hits. It does friendly fire, in other words, this ability. And I'm tanky enough to probably just ignore most of these critters and jump around and just keep dropping spells on the eye. I also got the high jump blessing. Oh no, I'm getting a little hurt. And as you can see, Heart of Ruin is already half down. Some of this is because I have the... oh, here comes the eye attack. Some of this is because I have damage bonus and damage gear. As you can see, the energy javelins do an incredible amount of damage if you wanted to go that route. Of course, you have a limited amount of them, but they're really strong. And And this is, I would say, the third hardest, without spoiling anything, roughly the third hardest fight in the game. But I am about to win it. Now, when you kill the Eye of Ruin, as you can see, even though there's exits over here, you can't really go through them. Your people will tell you to try to get out because it's going to blow, but as you can see, I can't interact with these doors at all. And here, the Eye of Ruin, which is a giant, nasty, ocular planet thing, blows up. Esther says, "This can't be." Protector, do not follow the myriad souls of those that came before you. Though even I succumbed to the ruin when we fought, I shattered, broke apart into near infinite pieces. Much was simply lost, though fragments of myself, ancient and wild, broke away and became something new. What little of myself remained stayed to watch what I left behind. You united my artifacts, Protector. The 6 races I gifted now stand as one. You've planted a seed of peace that will grow and spread throughout this vast universe. The ruin is destroyed, the universe is saved, but there's still so much to do. And now, to you, I give my final gift, the last of myself. Return, Protector, live again. Roll credits. So at this point, we are beyond the end of the game. And we can now pick up some additional quests. Yes, it's not truly over. So, heading back to Esther here, she gives you a special reward. This special reward has the thank you card, a pretty crummy pistol, and a very crummy dagger. Oh boy. The thank you card here is a thank you from all of the people that you have saved along the way, that you have gathered up, and just a thank you from Nuru, Tanuak, Baron, so on and so forth, Lana, Kochi, Esther, and Chucklefish Games, the developer. But I did say we're not done, right? I did say we're not done. So there are some things to do once you've beaten the last boss. There's a few. One is the Peacekeeper missions. Spoiler here. Big spoiler. So one of the things I mentioned was that the Ruin I felt like was the second hardest fight, or third hardest fight, rather. The hardest fight, I would say, is the last boss at the end of the Peacekeeper line. The Peacekeeper quest was not voted for me to do in this series, and as a result, I won't be doing it. But the Peacekeeper boss is probably the hardest. It's sort of, I would even put as, and this is me saying this, obnoxiously hard. Needlessly difficult. Something along those lines. So keep that in mind when you fight them. There are some strategies, but I'm not going to go through them because that would be spoilerific. And then what's harder than, what I would say is harder than Ruin would be what you get talking to this guy. So the final frontier. The winds whisper of what you have done. You have ventured far, young one, but there's still doors you have yet to open. I can trade keys with you if you wish to open ancient gates scattered amongst the stars. So, I hand over some refined material for vault key. And what this vault key does is open an ancient gateway to a sort of like an endgame boss fight. Think, if you are familiar with Diablo 2 or something like that, think like the cow level, where it's a fight that is procedurally generated, very, very similar every time you run it, but unique enough to warrant doing, I don't know, I guess is how I'd put it. So let's go and do one of these, so that it's not just in theory, it's in practice. Keep in mind that these fights are more difficult than the Ruin. I mean, your own personal feelings about it might be different, but that's just me saying it, that these ancient gateways are more difficult. So we actually have a gateway right here on the planet that we had been orbiting, but essentially they look like little gateways here. I know I have my mod still installed, but here's a gateway on this temperate star, here's a gateway on this radioactive star. They're not super rare, they're pretty common, and the way they work is you trade for a key, this vault key, and once you have a vault key, you can open the gateway and start to clear it. Let me bring some companions with me. Okay. So, let's beam down and open this one up. Once you open it up, you do have a limited period of time at which you can clear the dungeon, so to speak. It is a half an hour. So, open the vault key, activate this vault. No, don't stay here. Come with me. And enter the vault. Now, everything in this vault here is more difficult than most of the monsters you fought before. I've arrived at the ancient vault. I wonder what secrets these ruins hide. Let's take a look around. So, the currency for the vault is something called Ancient Essence. And you get Ancient Essence by killing everything. Destroying pots and just murder everything. Leave nothing unturned. Also keep in mind that everything hits you much, much harder. So you're going to use probably a lot of medical supplies down here. That is just totally, totally normal. Every pot, pan, everything. As you can see, my health is already really low. Taking my own advice, yes, it is much, much, much more difficult. And then each of these ancient vaults will also have a guardian at the end, which I'll talk about once we get towards it. Now, these are all procedurally generated dungeons, but they are limited in scope. So you can clear the whole thing in half an hour if you're quick and efficient. I have my damage EPP kit. And these ancient dungeons, or whatever you want to call them, also will have chests to open that have more essence, which is definitely worth doing. Come on, guys. So yeah, I have 250 essence so far, and this whole fight is basically collect essence. And as you can see, the chests do glow, so we'll be able to sort of spot them through walls and the like. Each dungeon sort of has a elemental type. This one is sort of a fiery dungeon, but they're sort of random. I wouldn't know what they are going ahead a time. I'm going to clear this way first. And bringing along companions can definitely help with the clearing. These areas are not easy, and having the extra help definitely helpful. Alright, so there is a chest down here, which I've not figured out how to get to, but I'm sure I will once I clear a bit more. And remember, every vase, every pot and pan should get destroyed. Okay, we're up to about 600 Ancient Essence. And the Ancient Essence is a currency that can be used to upgrade your equipment or help with colonization, as will be explained once I clear this dungeon. I might need to switch back to my non-damage EPP here. Ouch. Alright, I feel like I didn't fully explore this direction. It's good to sort of completionist your one direction, because you do have a limited amount of time, so you don't want to do a lot of double backing. Please, Essence, don't go into the lava anymore. If you want to collect it all and it goes into the lava, you're going into the lava. Some of the paths will sort of be dead ends like this without chests, and that's normal. And then you can also see that I've reached, like, the quote-unquote top of the dungeon. I can't go up any higher. Ouch. Shouldn't have done that. And then periodically hitting left Alt is going to help to illuminate things that you might have missed, if there's, like, chests or whatever. Okay. Continuing on, trying to clear as best as we can, and as safely as we can, and as fast as we can. There's a lot of requirements here. Now it's starting to get light again. I'll switch over to damage. Ouch. Nasty little ankle biters. Some bonbons. Alright. At some point, I will also find the boss chamber, but I would highly advise you to wait to do the boss chamber until you've cleared everything else. as that is how to maximize your yield from these. Alright, my friends over here might need a little help. And the boss chamber will be very, very obvious to you. It does properly register as a boss fight. So you'll have all the same telltale signs that you're heading into a boss fight. Alright, so we're up to about 1100 essence. It's pretty good, but we want more. Let's go this way first. Alright, so here's the boss fight. And as you can see, the boss is a fire type. This is going to be important. There are 4 different elements that the boss can have. Fire, poison, ice, or electric. And they take less damage from the type that they are. So if you fight a boss with a fire weapon, like I have a fire bouncer, for instance, as a staff here, it obviously would not be hurt by it as much. And there's also counter weaknesses too, and I'll go over those in a second when I'm not fighting for my life in a dungeon. To go over the fire types, let me just pause a second. Here, we'll stay here. So the status effects. These Vault Guardians are totally immune to status effects, means you can't shock them, slow them, stun them, poison them, whatever. It doesn't work. And they take less damage from their own element type. So it's going to be important for you to have a variety of weapons going into the fight. So that you might do maximum damage for, you know, your attacks. Okay, let's keep clearing. So I do believe that there's more left to do. Gotta be careful. Very easy to... Oh! There goes one of my companions. It's also possible to leave the dungeon and come back with more healing or revived companions or whatever, what have you. And that's probably what I'll do before the last boss fight, provided I clear with some time to spare. I also have some food that will help improve the damage that I do. So there was a chest over here that I haven't found the way to access it yet. I believe. This one. Try to figure that out. It should be accessible. To my knowledge, they're designed to all be. Man, I really can't figure this out. Oh, one thing to mention, you can't mine anything. As you can see. Well, if we have to skip a chest, we have to skip a chest. I'll chalk it up to just, I'm not smart enough to figure that one out. So once we have this totally cleared, except for the boss, I'll go back home to pick up another companion, maybe pick up another new blessing. Try to gear up as much as I can for the difficult fight ahead. The Guardians are difficult, as I said. They're very, very, very challenging fights. There goes my last companion. Oof. And almost me, too. Gotta be quick on those heals. And now I'm alone. Don't worry, they're not dead. They're just deactivated or whatever. Alright, as far as essence goes, we're up to almost 1,500, which is a pretty good yield. Would have been awesome. Oh, wow, I came very, very close. I should probably have fire resist potions on me in the future for if these essences get submerged in lava. Because that was way too close. At the... I shouldn't have eaten that. At the medical station that you can build, you can make burn cream type fire resistance to help with that. And there's also EPP bonuses that do that as well. So there's a bunch of different stuff to help you resist certain elements. I generally don't invest too much time in those kind of defenses. Just personally don't find them all that helpful. But in the case of being in one of these fire ancient shrines, it would definitely have helped. Oh. Oh my god. Well, that was, that could be better. I might try for a secret button at the one up top. See if there's a button I didn't trip. Like this one. That is probably more than likely why I didn't manage to get that chest that was up top. But we're just about done clearing this, which is good. And I'm pretty sure I have time to spare. And it wouldn't hurt knowing that I'm going into a fire boss fight to have that fire cream I was talking about. To be able to reduce fire damage that I get hit by. I've been both of these paths right and left, so I just need to go down this way. Without my light APP, it's going to be hard to see where I'm going. But that's why I carry both. Makes for very, very, very quick swapping. Ouch. There's the little button. Alright, I think I'm almost completely done with this one. I just probably need to hit the button up top for that last chest. And we're up to 2K. 2200 essence, which is a good yield. But there's still, of course, the boss left. And the boss offers a fair bit as well. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have fully cleared now. Except for that last chest that I originally couldn't figure out, but I'm sure it's just a button I missed. Yeah, I see the button now. Alright, at this point, I'm going to beam up, and I'm going to receive a new blessing from Cluex. I'm going to grab my companions again. And there we are. Let's check out the medical station. So the burn cream, I'll make 4 of. The burn resistance cryonic extract. Actually, I have more cryonic extract. Let's get more than that. Cryonic extract for burnt cream. And of course, these Fluffalows are what's been giving me chronic extract and scorch cores, which do play a significant role. Alright, so before we go back to that dungeon, I'm going to go to the ruins, get a blessing. A new blessing, which is just jump boost again. That's fine. That might help me. I don't know. These bosses are all a little random, so it's possible that the jump boost is going to be really helpful, or possible that it's not. I mean, I don't know. Let's put the damage EPP back on. The time on the clock is 7 minutes left. And providing I can remember exactly where this boss fight is, we should, I think it was, maybe it wasn't this way. Oh no, I think it was. And yes, your companions can help with these fights. Perfect. Hey, don't go stepping in there. Alright, so before we enter this fight, I also wanted to say that the energy javelins are really, really OP, so... Oh, wow. You are... I haven't figured out this fight yet. They'll have different moves. That I need to figure out how to defeat it. This one isn't as tough as some of the others I've fought in the past. It has just this, like... So it gets stunned by the electrical blade things. I don't know what this move... Oh. Little mini guardians. Ow. Alright, so let's try to stun it again. And then hit it with big javelin attacks. Mind you, this is a much easier guardian than some of the others I've had to fight in the past. Even though it's totally rocking my health. This is what I would consider one of the easier ones. And I killed it. Collect all of the essence. And now, we have two things to interact with. We have got this Terraforge. The Terraforge is a way for you to terraform planets using ancient essence. As you can see, if I wanted to make certain types of planets, I would need to have brought, like if I wanted to make Scorched Planet, I would need to have brought Chronic Extract with me, or a Snowy Planet, Scorch Cores for Volcanic, Venom samples for like Wooded or Jungle, and Terraforges allow you to change planets. So one of the advantages of this is if, let's say I colonize a tier 6 Scorched Planet, but I terraform it into a prairie, it would have all of the financial benefits of a tier 6 Scorched Planet with the weather and creatures of a prairie. So you can make difficult planets easier. You can also make easier planets difficult. It works both ways. But I just wanted to show you this here. And then we have the forge over here. This forge allows you to upgrade certain weapons. As you can see, I don't have any weapons that can be upgraded. The weapons that I have blueprints to craft can be upgraded here. So if I take a look here, like let's say I wanted to the planet that I'm going to colonize, the Scorched Planet, if I wanted to make it into a prairie or sandy or something, I would want to amass static cells or lush. Turn it into, you know, I would want to bring venom samples. What's important is that you have the ancient essence with you, and of course there is of course, if this is still open, by the time I run back home, let's see, venom samples. No, I don't have enough venom samples. Do I have enough of anything? I might not. I might actually not have enough of the resources needed, static cells. You would have to farm for these. And the way to farm for them... Oh, no, I have enough for Scorched, but I kind of don't want a Scorched Planet. Also realized that I didn't use any of my burn resistance. So I'm not going to bother going back because I don't have enough resources to benefit that. But yeah, so that was the Guardian fights. And you can do those sort of infinitely. So if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to farm the resources I needed for static cells, I could just look up, hey, what enemies drop static cells, and then go to my agricultural table and make sure to use like a hunting, or not a hunting bow, like a tungsten hunting bow or something like that to be able to hunt the specific creatures that drop those items. And if you're using hunting gear like this stuff, you have a higher drop chance rate for the items that you're looking for. So that way you can farm static cells and all that. Or alternatively, get more Muffalos, right? Because there's always that choice as well. You know, if I could go back to the teleshop here and go to the Terramart, and I could get electric Fluffalo or poison. Yeah, let's get one of each, just as demo. To be able to increase my yield, you know, you could buy a whole bunch of Flufflos if you wanted to. Given my current pixels, that would be pretty easy. And then you can always go back to those ancient vaults if I have enough items to trade, and these are sort of randomized, what they ask for. Well, guys, that is all the time I have for this episode. Next episode, it will be a little bit different. What's going to happen is it will be sort of a time-lapse narration of me fumbling around with colony building, because that is the last thing I need to do in this series. So, to many of you that aren't interested in colony building, thanks for watching the entire series. Thank you so very much. I really enjoyed it, and I joined the feedback that you provided on the way. If you don't intend to watch the colony building, farewell, and I hope you find a new series that interests you. And if you do, I'll see you next episode. Farewell, everybody.